This is the brand new Flydigi Direwolf 4, a feature-packed budget controller disguised as a pro controller. In this review, I'll be going over its price and unboxing, features and specs, design and hand feel, settings and software, and tech and in-game tests. Quick disclaimer, this controller was sent to me for free by Flydigi, but I had no restrictions for this review. Everything I say here is my honest opinion. Stick around until the end for my final thoughts, and if you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing and hitting the like button. Alright, let's get into it. At the time of this review, you can pre-order the Direwolf 4 from Gadget Hyper for $39.99, and it should also be available on Amazon soon. The dock will also be available to purchase for the full release. The packaging is about what you'd expect for a budget controller. Everything is held in place by this cardboard frame, and inside you'll find the controller, the 2.4 GHz dongle, a small USB A to C cable, and the user manual. The dock comes alone in this small box without an extra cable. Overall, the unboxing experience for the Direwolf 4 and dock is simple and straight to the point. The Direwolf 4 features new Force Flex Hall Effect joysticks, a new adjustable tension ring design, Hall Effect triggers with a micro switch lock, quiet membrane buttons, a hybrid 8-way D-pad, 6-axis gyro controls, 2 programmable back buttons, a 1000 Hz wired and wireless polling rate, an 800 mAh battery, and Windows, Switch, Android, and iOS support. Flydigi toned down some of the flashier design elements of the Direwolf 3 for this iteration in favor of a more sleek and simple look. Even the screw holes are covered up with silicone to give it a nice smooth appearance. The thumb caps have also been replaced with the newer Apex 5 design, which is smaller and similar to a standard Xbox controller. They're still compatible with the old thumb caps though, if you prefer those. The D-pad shape is also borrowed from the Apex 5 and has a clicky feel. Ever since Flydigi released the Vader 4 Pro, the controller community, myself included, has fallen in love with this tension ring. It's my favorite feature of the Vader 4 Pro, and they finally iterated on it here. The new ring feels less wiggly on the Direwolf 4, and it has a rubber texture which makes it easy to adjust. I absolutely love this new design, and I hope Flydigi uses it on the upcoming Vader 5 and Vader 5S. Another new feature that wasn't present on the Direwolf 3 is the addition of locking micro switch triggers. They're satisfying to use and have a fast travel time. The back buttons are also similar to the ones on the Direwolf 3, but feel slightly higher quality. Flydigi also made their logo into a fully functional home button similar to the Apex 5. Even though I prefer clicky switches, the membrane face buttons are quiet and well made. The controller is a tad light for my liking, but the shape is comfortable and easy to hold. I'd prefer some rubber or even textured grips, but beggars can't be choosers with budget controllers. The dock is surprisingly sturdy and has some nice weight to it. It's small, simple, and gets the job done without being an eyesore on your desk. It also has this nice rubber padding on the bottom to prevent slipping. Overall, I'm really impressed with the design changes to the Direwolf 4, and I love how it looks in my hands and on the dock. Similar to the Apex 5, the Direwolf 4 connects directly to Flydigi's Space Station 4.0. I still think this is pretty decent software, and I like the level of customization this controller offers. You can do all the usual tweaks to your joysticks, button layout, turbo, gyro controls, triggers, and you even have access to some advanced features like the stick bitrate and debounce algorithms. One notable omission from the previous version is the ability to switch to D input. You can still use Steam input with the X input API, so I don't really mind, but I know some people prefer having D input support. Unfortunately, Space Station has crashed on me a few times recently, and I've also experienced slowdown when doing things too quickly. Overall, Space Station 4.0 is a serviceable app that lets you do all the things you'd expect from your controller. After calibrating the sticks and triggers, I used Gamepad Law's Joy-T software to check everything out. I got a consistent 1000 Hz polling rate in both wired and wireless modes, and the circularity looks good using the square and circular algorithms. Both sticks have less than 1% stick drift with 0 dead zones and return to center nicely. Next, I checked the stick linearity, and these were my results. Using the 10-bit setting in Space Station, the right stick shows 1708 data points and a 507-point resolution with 91% linearity. I'm still surprised Flydigi hasn't developed their own TMR or capacitive sticks, but hopefully they do in the future. I lack the hardware to test latency myself, but according to LJ Lee's results on Gamepad Law, the Direwolf 4 has a B rating for both wired and wireless play. The button latency is good, but the stick latency is pretty disappointing. Using my digital force gauge, I found that at the minimum tension, my left stick takes about 36 grams of force, and my right stick takes 32. And at the maximum tension, my left stick takes about 78 grams of force, and my right stick only takes 67. The tension ring is supposed to have a range of 30 to 80 grams of force, so I'm a bit disappointed that my right stick maxes out lower than my left. I'm unsure how common this inconsistency will be for each unit, but hopefully Flydigi provides a fix. Lots of you have asked me to do more D-pad testing in my reviews, so the first game I booted up is Silksong. I'm a big Hollow Knight fan, so I'm excited to get into this one. Personally, I think the clickiness of the D-pad is really satisfying, and I think it works great for 2D platformers. It's easy to hit the direction you want, and I've had no issues with missed or incorrect inputs. I do wish you could lock the D-pad to 4 ways in Space Station, but this works perfectly fine for now. I also re-downloaded Soul Calibur 6 to test out a fighting game. Soul Calibur 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I love the sword combat in this franchise. The rotational axis makes the D-pad well suited for fighting games where you need to input combos quickly. Next, I booted up Call of Duty to check out the stick tension, trigger locks, and gyro aiming. If you've watched some of my other reviews, you'll know I'm a sucker for clicky triggers, and these are no exception. I like using max tension on my right stick and middle tension for the left. I also enabled the right stick gyro controls in Space Station and had some interesting results. It feels like there's some sort of invisible dead zone or dampening when you aim really quickly. This is especially apparent when you compare it to the snappiness of a DualSense controller. I'm unsure why this happens, but I really hope Flydigi opens up their gyro functionality beyond Space Station. I also tested the gyro controls in Cyberpunk on my Switch too. It works pretty well, but the range is still limited when aiming quickly. The Direwolf 4 also lacks the ability to wake this console from sleep, but Flydigi should be able to add that function in future firmware. Honestly, the Direwolf 4 might be my biggest surprise of 2025. It kind of came out of nowhere, and it's easily the most recommendable controller I've reviewed so far. It manages to borrow some of the best features from other Flydigi controllers while being cheaper than most of the competition. The fact that this controller is nearly 4 times cheaper than the Apex 5 is wild, and honestly, it makes it hard to justify spending more. Obviously, it lacks some of the higher end features like an onboard display, more programmable back buttons, or even TMR sticks, but the Direwolf 4 still provides a notable bang for your buck. It might not be perfect, but what controller is for $40? If you want to check out the Direwolf 4 for yourself, I've included a link to pre-order in the description. And if you found this review helpful, consider subscribing and hitting the like button. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, so thank you all for watching my videos, and stay tuned for more giveaways and videos to come. Big thanks to Flydigi for sending me this controller, and to all of you for watching. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one.